What's coming out of your mouth? What's coming out of your mouth? What's coming out of your mouth? It's saying Pete. Check him out, check him out. It's saying Pete. What's coming out of your mouth? What's coming out of your mouth? What's coming out of your mouth? It's saying Pete. Check him out, check him out.
All right, we all up, y'all. So let's get it going. We want to welcome you all to What's Coming Out of Your Mouth, Woman to Woman Girl Chat. I am your host, Tanya Lachey. I have some beautiful women joining me tonight. I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves, and we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. So, okay, I guess the way we are on the screen, maybe Yanni can go, and then we'll go down and over.
All right. Well, peace and love, everybody. Kings and queens. I am Queen Asia Hannah. My business is Yoni and Beyond. I am an herbalist and an empowerment coach. I have products and services that deal with the physical, the spiritual, and the mental well-being of our queens and our kings. So I'm going to pass it over to Miss Bobby.
Hi, everybody. I'm Miss Bobby. I am a mother. I am a hairstylist and a salon owner. And I just decided to be on the show tonight because I like to be empowering women, especially young women, since I am a lady of age, So I just decided to come on tonight and to talk to you all with this subject that I had. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to talk about right now, but when I get down to it, you will feel me.
Okay.
So
right, Miss Bobby.
good to be here tonight.
So hi everybody.
Welcome.
I'm Shawnee, Lashandra, either or. But I am the owner of Ade Look Skincare, where we provide a whole bunch of skincare items if you ever have the time to go look. But my interest in today is pretty much empowerment, making sure that everyone knows the importance of self-care, especially during these times. And just making sure I connect with everybody and share my experience, because you never know how what you go through can help someone else.
Hey, I'm Lala, and this is Kiosha, and we are Popping After 30 podcast. And we are a fairly new podcast. We just came on the scene in July of this year. And we've been doing really well. We got a good following. Please go check out our podcast, www.poppingafter30.com. We have merchandise and just all the while good energy, uplifting Black women over 30, making sure y'all keep it popping after 30.
Yeah. Really just promoting self-love, number one, and just making sure that we are here to be a voice and for everybody else to know that they have a voice. And we just want to make sure that we are sharing that with everybody and that your single experience is not solo. We're all going through the same stuff, after 30 or not.
Very relatable.
Absolutely.
Okay. Hey, y'all. I'm Jaquel Carlisle. I'm the proud mother of 2 brand school teacher. I've been there for like 10 years now. So, I'm just here to empower women, get some empowerment, and just have fun.
Hi, guys.
Looking forward to it.
Hello, ladies. I'm very excited for your After 30 podcast because I'm about to be 30.
Hey, welcome to
I'm gonna need that, okay? And I've used a lot of the girls' products on here, so I can definitely say you guys should go out and buy them. They're all natural, great products. But my name is Amanda Marshall. I'm an influencer, but more so a foodie blogger. I'm based out of Las Vegas, so I try to help people come here, have great experiences. I'm married, and I have 2 beautiful children, which is why my son is hollering mommy. Come here, Bubby. I'm a mom, and I get so many people asking me for advice, or so many women thinking that they can't have a great job. And
Hey, boo. Oh.
But so many moms thinking, and daddy, but so many women thinking that they can't find a good man, a good Black man. and just being able to have, you know, a healthy, strong marriage, to be able to raise your kids and still be able to have a career. Like, it's definitely possible to do it all. Doesn't give you much free time after that, but it's possible to have it all. So anything I can do to help another woman or empower her or set somebody in the right direction or even make some more money, then that's what I'm all about.
Yes. All right. So as you all can see, I have a very live cast with me tonight. So we just gonna jump right into it. And being that 2020 has just kind of forced us to kind of acknowledge many of the nuances that we usually probably just overlook because we just so busy doing our own things that we really don't pay attention to what our other sisters have going on. But right now we having time to sit with ourselves and to kind of make sure that the connections that we have are really genuine. So I just thought that it would be a good idea to kind of have a woman-to-woman girl chat on some things that we might need to check ourselves or check our sisters on. So are you all ready to just jump right into it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
So I just want to start off since it's like woman to woman, you know, when Shirley was on the phone,
Yes.
right? She was just like, you know, woman to woman. So when you come out woman to woman, we want to go ahead and just jump into checking yourself because you can't try to go to somebody else when you haven't got yourself together. Well, you can, but you know, they say sweep around your own front door. So we're going to start talking about checking ourselves and then we're going to go into the other topics because, you know, first you got to get yourself together before you can get somebody else together. So Popping After 30 going to kind of give us their little opinions on checking yourself in the door.
Honey, this is one for the books, okay?
Okay.
I think it's really important to make sure that before anything, you have to make sure that you come correct, right? Like, just to be really honest. And you really need a circle of women that's going to do that for you. Because to me, perception is reality. So you could go run around and do all these things that you think are right. But what trail are you leaving behind? What feelings are you leaving behind? And I think sometimes we as women kind of take that the wrong way when it comes to checking ourselves, right? So me and La have a really good system of accountability. So it's one thing for me to stop and check myself, but my checking of myself may be different from what La has to say about me. And so for me, number one, checking myself first is looking in the mirror to say, okay, what am I doing and how am I making other people feel? And what lasting taste is this going to leave in somebody's mouth? You know what I mean? It's really hard to do that because we don't want to do that half the time. I don't want to be like, dang, I just really messed up and I don't feel good about that. Like, it's really hard to do. So you have to have those stopping points. So for me, I do that every day. So I reflect on the day before it even happens. So I get up in the morning and I try to be very positive. Okay, so here's what happened yesterday. Reflect on it. If there's anything that I could have improved on from an individual standpoint, okay, let's, take that other route. But then I call La every morning and I'm like, girl, let me tell you what happened and how I reacted. So you can check me too. Cause I could be like, nah, that was good. Like I should have yelled at her. And La's like, let's look at the situation and see what's happened. So 2 things I would say when it comes to checking yourself is it's okay to admit when you are wrong. And it took me until I was over 30. Because I was always right in my 20s. Always, right? Like, I was always right. But then have an accountability partner. Have somebody that's not going to be your yes man, but is going to tell you when it hurts. And you're like, I don't like this. It doesn't feel good, but I needed this check.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because that's going to keep it balanced.
Yeah. And, on the flip side of that, it's like, you have to check yourself, but at the same time, don't beat yourself up. Like, yeah, you made a mistake, but don't sit in it and stew in it and then be so negative. You stupid. You're done. Why
that's
did
when
you do
become
that?
unproductive.
Unproductive. You're negative. Your self-worth your sense of self-worth drops. So admit the mistake so you can learn from it, but don't dwell on it. Like, you have to move through that, admit your mistake, and keep it pushing, and know that we are human. We all make mistakes, and it's going to happen. Anybody could have made that same mistake. But checking yourself is being honest, being real, but also knowing that you still the shit at the end of the day.
Okay.
Period.
Okay,
Have that checkpoint too. Because I feel like sometimes, right? Period, poo. But those checkpoints, because sometimes I feel like we move through life and we forget to stop and check on ourselves, and that means checking ourselves when we need to be checked as well.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I really like what you said. I listen to Ayanla a lot. Like she's my godmother or somebody in my head. So she
She's
something
all our auntie.
yes. So she something I got for her that she says, how was I today? And I think like you said, to reflect on the day, I think that's very big, at least at the end of the day, because I like you start out the day trying to pray and kind of hope for how I want my day to go. But at the end of the day, I think it's very beneficial to say, how was I today? What did I do wrong? And how can I show up better tomorrow? And although you're not going to be perfect the next day, but at least you're aware of the things that you need to correct. So I definitely think that's important. Did anybody else want to add anything on that?
Yeah, I think
definitely. Okay. Oh, yeah.
I'm about to say, I think the first step to me checking myself was to get rid of stereotypes about Black women and realizing that I ain't gotta be perfect.
Yes.
Like when I realized that it was okay for me to not be what other people thought I should have been or live up to other people's expectations, that was my first step in checking myself, because then I started living for myself. And the same thing with having, like, I need people around me who gonna check me, because I know sometimes I may have that imposter syndrome bigger than anything I ever thought I would have ever been in, and I start doubting myself. Like, why am I in here? This ain't for me, or my energy ain't even matching these people. Let me just leave. And that's when I am like, no, because everything you ever did made you want to use a room of expanding your faith or whatever it is. Sometimes you got to be okay with being
them. You can calmly have a conversation because you genuinely want better for them, just as you do for yourself. Checking yourself, also checking in to see if you're happy. Like, am I happy? Because like you said, if you are doing it for other people, you'll find at the end of the day, you're in a husband, for so long I'm pouring into them. And then I had to step back, especially this year. I'm like, I'm about to be 30. Like, am I doing things that make me happy? And I think that's when people get so far away from themselves. And then years down the line, they're like, I'm not happy. I don't, and then you feel resentful every day. You're the one who got yourself to that place. And then the last thing I'll say is, when you're checking yourself, remember, you're not a bad person. You made a bad choice. So if you're making those bad choices, and you know that you're making those bad choices and you continue to do it, that's when you turn into a bad person. But if you can recognize those things, you can still be a good person that just happened to make a bad decision.
That's true.
Just to piggyback on that, like, in everything that you think about, make sure that you're doing it with gentleness and with love. We make mistakes, we're human, where you're like, okay, I thought about this, and you know what, I need to check myself. Okay, I checked myself. Now move on to the next thing. You learned, it's a learning curve, now go to the next thing. So just be gentle and loving yourself and just be like, all right, I got that. Next.
Yes. Okay. Can y'all hear me good? Because I had to get on my phone audio, but I'm on the computer still.
Yeah, much better.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Because I don't want no boyfriend. We need to definitely go on and sit down, because this is some good content. So we need this. Okay, Ms. Bobby, did you want to add anything?
When I think about checking myself, first of all, I have to think about, do I love myself? You have to love yourself before you how to live or how to act. You have to carry yourself in a way that it makes you feel good about yourself. Because when you lose yourself, then you are not able to help anybody back on everything that everyone said. Is that, first of all, love yourself. And then when you love yourself, you can love someone else and also help someone else.
Yeah. Okay, then, girl. Well, since you said that about loving yourself, we can go ahead and talk about self-love. But, that's on the list as well. We know self-love is a big thing. I'm a major advocate for self-love, because y'all might not know, but this is my mother. So like Ms. Bobby, you cannot love, yes, you cannot love anyone if you don't love yourself. But a lot of people really struggle in the arena of loving themselves, because so many things and people have made them unworthy, things they have done in the past, whatever I have done. But so we really want to push the narrative of how important self-love is. So Popping After 30, they also got this topic. So y'all come on and let us know.
Go ahead, I'm gonna let you take it away.
Well, you know how the songs go. Self-love is the best love. I mean, I think self is the most important thing. And if you don't feel that you are worthy, if you don't feel like you're good enough, if you don't feel like you diminish, and you're not going to be able to receive the love that you might be desiring. So with love, internally love who you are. And I think a lot of that comes from self-care also. How you treat yourself, how you putting yourself down, are you blaming yourself? I think a lot of people, we don't handle ourselves with
Yes.
grace. We're not
Yes,
kind,
see.
we're extremely hard. And I'm talking to y'all, but I'm talking to myself too. Like I've been extremely hard on myself, negative, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And I think it's an actual practice to practice mentally thinking
Yes.
positively, to think and to when you wake up in the morning, it all starts with your outlook. If you say that it's gonna be a shitty day, it's gonna be a shitty day. But if you say today's gonna be a beautiful day, it's gonna be a beautiful day. You have to look within yourself. I'm really big on mental health. I'm really big on going to therapy. I'm really big on checking yourself and really being truthful. I mean, if you need a counselor, and sometimes your girlfriend just don't do it, but maybe if you need to seek a professional to really talk through a lot of child, we go through so much in a day, and it's really hard to sort that all out on our own internally. So you might need a professional, or it did to you when you was a child. And yes, you had a right to feel that way. Yes, you had a right to speak up about that, but they made you feel small. Like little things that go. So making sure that internally, you're straight mentally. That you're thinking, you're surrounded by people who are going to support you on your journey, you know. And also, once you get to that point of self-love, and you realize your shit from no man, from no boss, from no coworker, from nobody, because you know exactly why you was put on this earth, and you know what you was supposed to do about you.
That's it.
So it's a process. And I say that for anybody, it's a process. I'm over 30, popping up to 30, still learning it, still getting self. Know thyself, love thyself, and only surround yourself with people that's for you.
And I would add to that, we just did an episode called "As Black Women." It's a lot harder, right? Like, how many times have you heard these crazy stories about how 50 Cent won an exotic woman? Part of self-love is surrounding yourself with positive images of people that look like you, which we don't have enough of.
Right.
I think as Black women, it's really important for us. Like, I don't like my dark skin. I don't like my big lips. I don't like, you know what I mean? And so a part of the self-love for me was I got to college and I saw other Black women that looked like me that were doing it. And so for us, we have to not only start with internal love, but we have to surround ourselves with it, because for far too long, we were told we were ugly as well. But affirmations as well. You are beautiful. You are enough. You are everything to this earth. Your melanin skin is the we run the world, okay? So
praise our Lord Jesus. Amen.
Man.
It's too much for us. So I just want to say that I'm here for Black women, and number one, beyond the layer to that is us loving each other and us being positive to each other and knowing that we aren't competition. I want to see you win, and I hope that you want to see. I feel the most love for myself when I'm surrounded by love too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one thing that was the purpose of having this chat is that, so y'all hit on so many good points, but it's something that Asia and I was talking about before everyone came on, was determining who you are and who you want to be. And I think with so many things that are important to us, all these things psychologically, to figure out who we are as adults. And once we figure that out, then we can determine how we can love that person of who we are as adults. So I think that's why a lot of people
it's like the images we see. I agree. I could think back to like me growing up, and at one point me wishing I was lighter. Like I grew up with a sister who was more fair skinned, and at that time when I was growing up, that it was a thing to have one of a bigger frame that had this and this and that, and to the point that I remember going through stages where I didn't even want to wear certain clothes. Like I didn't even want to wear dresses. I didn't want to wear skirts. I thought my legs were too long and too skinny. I ran across another girl who had a frame similar to mine, and I'm like, well, if she could do this, like, what in my mind, like, what makes her so comfortable to wear this? And I realized that it wasn't her; it was me that was the problem. Somebody else kind of determined what was pretty. No, I'm pretty. I'm that
period.
And then I realized it had to start with me learning how to take compliments. Like, why am I cowering when somebody tell me I look pretty once applying the butt?
That's
but
right.
I don't like this, but I don't like that. No, I'm not. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
Like, and then it started with me learning how to compliment myself. I'm gonna look in the mirror and I'm gonna hype myself up. And then just dispelling all those things. Like I remember just learning how to just be eager. And that's okay. They don't need to be in my space. So when you're developing that self-love, everybody who just gonna love you from afar, who gonna give you them compliments, who gonna love you as a friend, as a family member, if they can't get with you, then they don't need to be around you. They gonna affect your self-love.
Like you said, those affirmations are so important. When you get up in the morning, For me, I get up every single morning. I gotta affirm who I am. And if it's not about me, 24 hours in a day, you better get it. You better make it happen. You can do it. You're successful. You're this, you're that. Because guess what? It's starting the vibe of your day. So that way, if somebody hits you with a curveball, like, oh, you're doing this or you're doing that, the vibe, you're planted and you're grounded in who you are.
Right.
So meditation, like you guys said, is so important. That's why I love meditating with women, because to me, it's so simple. Their mind, you're getting a piece of their perspective. So as they're coming to you with openness and a vulnerability to say, hey, you know what, I'm dealing with this and I don't feel how or somebody else. And that's a part of being in a community of strong women, like, amongst you queens, just being able to say, I'm gonna be the change that I want to see. I like that outfit. That's a cute lipstick. Okay, I see your hair. Like, I don't have to get a compliment back. I don't even got to get a thank you. But guess what? I put that love out there. It's a matter of grounding yourself and affirming other people around you too, even if they accept it or they don't. But hey,
Then am I else want to add anything?
I just want to say you find other women that do not compliment other women because no one ever complimented them. So they don't them saying, well, I like that, but I like you and what you have on or what you're doing. I really like it, but they'll hold back and won't speak. So because they never had anyone.
Right. And sometimes it can be where the person is from. They think that you're complimenting them and they're like, well, what about me? Let me hold my purse, let me clench myself. Or, you look into culture or the same beliefs or mindset or even perception. So if you give someone a compliment, you give without any expectation. So if you give a compliment, need anything in return. So when you put that love out there, just leave it where it is. But I'm pretty sure that vibration and that positive energy is going to resonate on them later. Yes, I like you. It's going to come back.
One of the things that I've noticed is that I feel like there's a shift, and I'm going to keep talking about Black women because I praise Black women all day, every day. But I think there's a shift, right? Or depicted as being pretty, but now we got like the Lupitas out here with the dark skin that are just killing it.
Right.
Have a better representation of all the women. I know and try to do is to compliment. Every day I'm complimenting a Black girl. I don't care. Like she can be walking down the street because I just think of how that makes me feel. When we talk about like that self-love. Dang, that felt really good. Like, that felt really good. You don't know, especially with everything that's happening in the world today. Like you don't know that one little compliment has gone so far. Compliment a Black girl when you see her walking down the street.
And I done got to the point where they be like, "Dang, you beautiful." I be like,
"Thank you." I ain't got no hair no more, but okay.
I don't even say thank you no more. I already know. Thank you.
One last thing I wanted to add though, you have to dwell in some positive spaces. And that's from your mental to all the way around to whoever you are, because whatever you're around, you are going to become eventually, and it's going to love themselves. Eventually, you're going to start doubting who you are, and how you even love yourself. Oh, I might be doing too much for myself. You can never do too much for yourself. Stuff is work. Sometimes you can't control when somebody's been really negative around you, but you can't control how you react to it. You can control how you engage with it, or even if you want to block it out completely. It's up to you to find your space and stay in it.
Something that I carry with me is like little essential oils. So sometimes like you're at work and it's fast paced, it's go, 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 go. And when I go to the bathroom and wash my hands, I'll pull out my essential oil, roll it on palm, tea tree or eucalyptus, and you just take a deep breath and you have a moment just to be able to inhale that positive vibe, a little self-love, and just be like, roll my sleeves up. All right, back to work. And like she said, create a space that's positive and affirming who you are in that self-love. I don't have much time, but my showers is super sacred to me because the kids is out there, boyfriend's over there, work is on pause. This is the only time I get for myself sometimes. So bath oils and it's just a moment that I create an atmosphere that's conducive to me. So however that may be for any one of you queens or whoever's listening, take a moment. It'll be trap music, it'll be whatever music they want, but that's a vibration that is conducive to you, promoting your vibe and creating a day that you can tolerate.
That's definitely how I set the tone of the day. If I'm getting a chance to really pray, meditate in the morning on the way to work, like, you got to get your head together before you go into the building because it's going to pop up. So it's good to use that time to kind of pray and sing your worship songs or your ratchet song, whatever you can get into your highest level of energy. And another thing that worked for me, when so many negative people, I put a sign on my door to check your office. If you come in here with something negative, can you just leave it outside and don't come to our office? So that has worked some. Some people don't care. They're going to bring their bad energy, but you know how to turn them off and like, look, I'm not in that mind space. So I need you to leave out my office. So I think you're just making sure that you set the tone is just the main thing, because people gonna respect you and they're gonna get out your space if you're not on level that they trying to be on. So, anyone else want to add anything on that?
just what you said about, you know, you being a positive person, but you still have those people that are trying to come test you. They'll test and try around and keep it
Yes,
moving. Like, hey, I ain't with it. So, and when they go to talking that
absolutely.
yin yang, when you're not saying what they want to hear, they'll go on about their business anyway.
Hmm.
So,
Absolutely. Well, we have our
Yep.
other queen joining us. So, Miss Brittany, do you want to introduce yourself before we
Hi,
go on to the next topic?
everybody. My name is Brittany, aka Queen Quality, Queen
hey,
Breeze, whatever it is, just put Queen in front of it.
okay.
And I'm very happy to be on these topics because I really feel as though it resonates with everybody, or if it doesn't, I think that we have thought about it and we need to discuss it as a group of positive
Yes.
people.
Right.
All right. So, most of us, anybody who are everybody? Is everybody here? Mother? I don't think Miss Shawnee
No,
Love, are you
not
a mother?
yet, not yet.
I got
Okay,
three.
then
You can
everybody
borrow
else.
one, but just give me
Okay.
one.
Okay, I got three godkids. That's it.
Okay. So, we're gonna move on to talking about motherhood some, so we can talk about raising our brown girls. But we gotta talk about being moms and
Right.
strong mothers first. Kind of give us a little insight.
Well, my babies are only little. I got a 2 and 4 year old, a boy and a girl. And it was unexpected. Well, I've known my husband since I was in high school, almost 5-10 years later. So we had kids, and I really wanted to be married before then, have solid foundation before I found kids or had kids. And I think women should be able to embrace the unplannedness. You know, we get so caught up
Yes,
in
Mm.
this what the
definitely.
plan is. Yeah, and everything I thought I wanted and knew I wanted and you can't pick what order God and the universe bring things to you.
Exactly.
You know, like I wanted all of these things, and I got them, and I can't get caught up in the process of everything. You know, if you have children, you were meant to have them. There's no right or wrong time picking, and trying to figure out when do we tell them things and how do
Mhm.
we explain these things to them. Because my 4-year-old, this girl, I'm like, can we go say hi to the neighbors? We're gonna bring them some cupcakes and leave it at the door. And she's like, but the virus. She's like, we can't go to the store because of the virus. We can't go to the park because of the virus. So,
Aw.
but trying to break things down and explain it to them in ways that they can understand. And I think we hold off from explaining or talking to our kids about things because we think they don't
But they
understand.
understand.
But really, they got so much understanding.
These
Yep.
children, they
They are
wise.
wise.
They
Mhm.
very wise.
Mhm. Like they're kids, but really they're young adults. But in our head, we don't want them to grow up too fast. But also, we need to teach our kids some understanding a lot earlier, you know, so that they can share and give their wisdom to the world and empower them where they're at right now. You know, there's so many little you know, like if my daughter's extra talkative, it's like, but that's her personality, you know, like how many times in a TV star or a comedian, and you know, meet your kids
Yes.
where they're at, you know, whatever it is that they're good at, let them be themselves and enjoy it, and then find ways to introduce those things to my kids. But I'm really excited to hear from you women about children, because my kids are little, so I'm trying to prep myself for this
Teenagers.
next like onset of motherhood. And the self-love, something that we've definitely implemented. Like I'm half white and half black, so my hair is very different from my daughter's. So taking the time to figure out and learn how to do her hair properly. Like my mom always let me straighten my hair since I was in 3rd grade, and I never knew any of my black side of the family. Tried to look a certain way because I wasn't taught to embrace those things. So talking to my daughter when I'm doing her hair, or every day telling her how much I love her hair, or she gives me a clue going out and finding somebody who can make it as close or put it, you know what I'm saying, to do something without altering the state of her hair or making her into somebody else, to try to embrace her where she is, telling her how much I love it. And you know, brown skin girl is our thing. We got to listen to that at least like 3 times a
Yes.
day.
Yeah.
And sing it at the top of your lungs until you're playing that song in your head every single day. And remember, like, I'm beautiful, I'm rich,
Yes.
I am from somewhere else, and teaching them about their culture and where they came from. My in-laws are Caribbean, so you know, making sure they see us cooking that food and playing that music, and you know, spending time with those types of people so that they can grow up
Yeah.
around that, unlike
Yeah,
how I grew
I'm
up.
like you. I'm kind of new. My baby's only 20 months old, but I was sharing with Aisha that I struggled with fertility for over 10 years and had 7 miscarriages. So everything I don't have the pleasure of the I just find out that you're pregnant. That never happened for us. We just had to make sure we were planning it. But at the same time, you think you know so much before
Yep.
becoming a parent. But then you become a parent, it's like, I don't know anything. I everything else. You figure it out as you go.
Yes,
So
That's
that
it.
is so true.
yeah.
For me, I have 3
That's what
children, and my oldest is 13, my son, and I had him when I was 16. So it was just, for me, I'm together. But I have my son that's 13, then I have my daughter that's 8, then I have a little one that's 3. They're all 5 years apart, all born over the summer. So like you said, you know, you want to speak to your kids, but for me, I had to learn how to speak to each one of them on the level. Coronavirus, mom. So we got Lysol, we got this. All right, mom, you good? Like, I don't want you going to work. You work at a doctor's office too. Are you okay? And then my 8-year-old is like, mom, coronavirus. And you know, she want to go to my friend and she want to touch everybody. So they're all 3 different ages and 3 different perspectives. So for me, trying to be able to speak to them on a level where they all understand. But the great thing about realistically, to be able to say, okay, this is what we got to do. This is how we are. But my son, he kind of grew up a little bit being bullied in school because of his weight and his height and him being bigger than my dad being a pastor. And with me, I'm so strong into meditating. We really was able to get to him at a younger age as a Black boy growing up into a Black man who is aware. He'll watch the news, you know, he knows what's going on. He's socially aware. So being able to talk to him, yeah, you're a Black man, and having to talk to him about if a police officer does come up to you with girls or my younger ones yet, but that's a conversation that I've had to have with him. And so with him, it's so important to build up our young kings now, to build up that mental. So for my son, I'm like, we got to learn how to build you up now, because he would come home crying like, somebody called me big, and somebody, that's them projecting their fears and their insecurities onto you. So in talking to him and meditating with him, I taught him how to meditate through Avatar. You know, Avatar talks about, and so I'm like, okay, he likes that. So now I can go into his room and he's sitting there meditating, playing some water sounds or whatever that Ms. Wallace, you know, about an instance that happened with my son 2 days ago. He comes to me, he's like, Mom, where's the Bible? And I was like, what makes you ask me for the Bible? I like to dig into his mind to see where he is. I don't just look where his head is at. So he's like, well, I feel like people have been controlling how I react. I want to be in control of myself. So I want to read and just strengthen myself. And in that, because that is something that is like, as a 13-year-old that's going to be a man, that is something that a lot of people deal with. I deal with it even now. I control how I react. No one should have that much power over me to steal my joy and exchange it for their insecurities. So for him to be able to do that was such a proud moment for me. But as a parent, I feel like we have to instill mental strength, and you got to affirm your children. And my daughters, both of them are 2 different shades of chocolate. And that's what I tell her. One of them, and my youngest, is my complexion, and the other one is dark skinned. I mean, sometimes she'll look at herself and I'm like, she said, why am I lighter? And why is she, you know, why am I darker and why is she lighter? And I said, you know how you got light chocolate and you got dark chocolate, but they're both so. I have to tell it to them that way, because they are sisters. I had a sister who passed away, and she was dark skinned, and everyone always thought, because she was like, why am I being excluded? So because I knew that was a pain for her, I just made sure that I instilled that in my children. And so it's different things like this that I kind of learn as I have 5 years apart, a boy, a girl, a baby. Either perfect. We are not going to get it right every time, but as long as we're feeding them that love and we're feeding them that affirmation of you're strong and you're beautiful and you got this, then they'll be able to deal with whatever life.
Absolutely. And I already told her, y'all, that she raising an awesome husband, because whoever get him, if he's that aware at 13, whoever get him, she's gonna be proud of her husband.
And that's the other thing, us raising Black boys as us being Black women, you know, like, just to be, a lot of us came from single mothers, or a lot of men we date came from single mothers, and they've been preconditioned from pain, and they were raised with that pain, and now they project it onto other people. So, you know, giving your boys affirmation to be somebody's husband one day, you know, and to show them how to treat women, and, you know, how to treat their sister, and then raising them 2 different ways, you know, the way we raise men versus how we raise women, and what we tell one to watch out for versus the other one. And a lot of times, you know, we're more lenient.
I would like to chime in really quick. I am, first of all, I would say I have a 3-year-old son and I have a 8-year-old daughter. And it is scary. I thought it was scary when I first got pregnant, 2021, but I'm like, I need a daddy, because the daddy is there and the boy is there. I mean, if you get a boy, you know, he's going to be following the mom. But I laid down, had this baby, was not expecting to become a mentor, a teacher. She's everything. So now having a 3-year-old son, you know, due to certain circumstances, the father is not here. He passed away. Did not think that was going to happen. And it's scarier. You know, staying in the in a certain towns, evident that, you know, racism is still alive and thriving. So I have to look out for my son and wonder how he's going to, just how is he going to be profiled? Is he going to get shot? I'm always trying to keep him to myself, don't want him to go anywhere or anything of that sort. So I just want to touch on that it is, I think motherhood can be, you can take it either way, to the enlightening phase. I can be a grown woman and own up to that. But I think that it's about learning about myself and where I stand in order to teach my children where to go.
One thing that I was gonna say, my son, he actually made me realize, he's like, Mom, you panic. And I'm like, I know what's going out into the world, that's going on in the world right now with the social inequality and the COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement and the racism. It's just so much to where I would be like texting him, okay, are you on lunch? Are you at the school? Your GPS showed that you're at school. It made me a little paranoid, I guess. And so he's like, hey, Mom, I'm over here. And one day I'm like, why are you sending it to me? He's like, Mom, I know you. You're like, I'm projecting my fears onto him. And so I was like, I have to stop doing that, because now I'm making him fearful. Now I'm making him nervous. Now I'm giving him anxiety. I have to manifest what I do want and not what I don't. I don't want him to walk around the police and be nervous and look like a suspect. I don't want him to do all of that. So let me affirm him and let him away. So I had to kind of change the way I thought. And in changing the way I thought, I changed the way I was imparting into him. So I had to back up and stop fear. But, the cautiousness is going to be there. But at the same time, we just got to make sure we don't project any of that onto our children, because again, they soak it up and now they grow up into having the same that we have when we want them to be stronger. We want them to be even more powerful. We want them to be even stronger. You know what I mean? So just trying to stop ourselves as parents of projecting our fears of what if onto our children.
Keosha, we're not mothers, but me, I am a daughter. And just listening to you ladies speak about motherhood, mama, and it was always a child is meant to be seen and not heard. And the fact that you guys are listening to your children and taking their feelings and what they think into account, you would say, hey, Mommy, this is not right. Something is not right. And that wasn't a norm, like in my household when I was growing up, in a lot of Southern households, and I'm pretty sure but it's a huge difference from the way it was to the way it is now. Like you're with the parents where they can come to you about anything and really talk to you, and I think that's the most important thing.
I think that people realize what they do when they don't allow their children, being an adult now, not being able to speak up about certain things, made me not speak up in my own life about certain things that people are doing. I felt like I don't know if I have a right to say this. You all, like, number one, let me say, like, being a mom is a superpower in its own, especially with everything that is happening. So I just want to commend every woman. Again, like, kudos to you guys, or you women, really, for allowing your kids to speak up and really talk about their feelings and really sit in that moment, because as an adult, you struggle when you don't have, because I couldn't speak up for myself. I didn't know what my feelings were, because for a long time I couldn't talk about them. When stuff happened, I couldn't talk about it with my family or my parent or my mom, whoever. Raising beautiful brown girls and Black men who are going to do amazing things because they already have the opportunity to speak up and dwell in that moment and how they feel and their
Well, can we let Miss Bobby come on in?
I want to just speak on that.
I want to let you speak, and then let Miss hold on, and then let Kel talk last, because then she can go into talking about the raising brown girls, and that's the next topic.
Okay, I just want to speak on raising raising children. I have two girls and 2 boys, and I had my first lot, but eventually I got married 2 years later to my husband, which is now that we've been together for 35 years and known each other for 37. And raising Black girls and raising Black boys, I told my daughter, she's raising brown girls, but today time, I'm not raising them. So I told her, no, I didn't want to speak on that, because I couldn't tell you how to raise a girl right now. It's so much different than when I was raising them. My daughter, she have 2 daughters, and when she began to mother, she said she didn't want to raise her girls like she was. But I never felt like that we was too strict on her, but it was just that what we had, the expectation that we had out of her, what we wanted her to be as a young lady. I had to put a little bit more on her, because we didn't have a handbook on raising kids. So, but as now that she is raising her 2 daughters, I can feel that she should have did a little different, because at the end of the day, if you don't be in control and you let the kid control you, then you're going to have a problem in the long run. So I say to you, mother child, like you was raised, you need to have some wisdom along with that new knowledge that you all want to give the kids, because wisdom take you a long way than just the knowledge of a lot of things that can come up in life. To just saying that I'm just going to give my child this and give them that. I'm not going to spank them. I don't want anybody else to spank them. it's not gonna work. That they can say anything to anybody and not have no reprimanding behind it. So I say to you young ladies that raising brown girls and brown boys, do your best. Stay focused on them. I come here. And so you need to stay focused on them and do your best. And when you put yourself out there, you better think about what you're doing in front of them, because you gonna tell them you done. So watch how you carry yourself. Be respectable around your kids. If you want respect, you got to give it. So I tell you all, as you raising your young boys and girls, hold it together. Whether it's like, I thought this here, let me tell you this here. I thought that just being teaching the girls what to do, and I let my husband teach the boys what to do. But once the guys grew up, they kind of like re-raise them. Because the things that I did not have them doing, I always felt like the girls did everything that a woman should do, and never expected boys to, do none of that.
They ain't wash no dishes.
They didn't wash dishes. They didn't cook. They didn't do none of that. The girls did that. And the guy married. It was a whole different scenario. And when I see them nowadays doing these things that I didn't tell them they had to do, or I felt like it was a woman's job to do, work with their wives, just like, like I guess like I would tell them to do stuff, they do what their wives tell them to do. But they're men, they do what they're supposed to do as a man, but then they hold so they can be a one. So I just tell you, watch what you do with your kids. Yes.
Thank you for that wisdom, love.
Yes,
Before Jaquel goes, we have somebody saying that they have always admired the relationship that Miss Bobby had with her cousins and mirrored that with her daughter. So your light been shining, Miss Bobby. You've been teaching some other little ladies how to be moms. So okay, Miss Kale. Go ahead. You saying something, Miss Bobby?
I just want to tell you, ladies, that I not only raised my 4 kids, but I raised my deceased sister 5. So I think I did a good job with all of them. Praise God.
Amen.
Yes, I think you did.
That's a strong woman.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Definitely.
Okay, Miss Kale. So let me tell y'all why I wanted Miss Kale to come on here and talk about raising brown girls, because she is a brown girl advocate. After my baby's birthday, is it the 14th?
Yeah.
Or the 12th?
The 15th. She on the 15th.
Okay. And so we both had our baby's birthday party the same weekend. And baby, when I tell you Black Girl Magic was all over the birthday party, I had to come speak on this topic. I'm like, that's your topic, girl. So we're going to let her talk about raising brown girls, because she is on it.
Yeah. So yeah, my thing about skin women or anything like that, but I just hear, because we are beautiful, no matter what shade we are. But I have 2 brown skin girls. They're darker than me. My daughter that's 1, she's the darkest. But I mean, like growing up my baby, say for instance, when she would go 3 dolls, she would get, it would always be a white doll. And I'm like, why you want a white doll? You look like this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm whatever. I'm like, but your hair is pretty, your hair is beautiful. Your skin is beautiful. And she like, well, was like she didn't feel as if she was or whatever. So I have to talk her up, like, you're beautiful. And when Beyonce came out with that song, I'm like, okay, this is it. Brown skin girl, skin just like pearls. So that's I don't know about her. But I have to hold it down for them and let them know you're beautiful, no matter what shade, how your hair is. Everybody got good hair. We like the braids, we like the afro puffs, we like it all. I mean, I just have to talk them up and let them know, like, it's not about your skin color. Wear your puff balls, you're still beautiful. There's no such thing as the way you look. Beauty is only skin deep. It's what's inside your chest, your heart. I can't just, I don't know. I'm trying to find the words, but it's just, I just have to keep them brown skin girls together, let them know, like, no matter what you hear these other people saying is beautiful, that's not, it's the way you are. Yep.
Exactly.
And I love that you're starting at 1 year old. Like, with the kids being as wise as they are now, we have to start affirming them as soon as they recognize the things that we're saying and able to realize what you're saying. So I think for whatever reason, because we know kids get bullied, we know they were bullying during our time. So now it's on a whole nother level. So I really admire you doing that. And I think it's so important, whether it's the shade, their skin color or their weight or their hair. You already know your kids, but make sure that they feel whole and beautiful no matter what their weaknesses are. So big ups to you on it. All y'all, big ups to all y'all. But I love that is something that is a real big driving force with your girls. I love that so much.
Definitely. I let them know, because I'm big on having that strong relationship with them, because I have a strong relationship with my mom where I can come to her and talk to her about anything. And I mean, I'll just be real. I was self-conscious about my lips. about a lot of difference being, you know, whatever. I was all that, but my mama taught me up, baby, you beautiful. And so I know, okay, I got to do the same thing for my girls. I got to make them feel good. And you beautiful.
That's right. Starts at home.
For my mom. It does. So I know I have to keep it up with mine.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what the world tell you, you know, just the way you are. You don't have to do this to try to fit in with whoever. Be yourself.
That's right.
God didn't make no mistakes.
That's right.
He ain't make no mistakes.
Just letting them know from early age, because for someone who was like sexually abused as a child, when you already don't feel that love, or you feel like somebody doesn't listen to you, and I think especially in a lot of families, you know, like we're letting our kids speak up and tell us in hopes. I hope that my daughter feels comfortable to come to me and talk to me, but also that not some random person just makes your day.
Right.
She's not going to be fooled by some random who just comes in here and you know, tries to swoon her off of some, you know, off of that from the very beginning, you know, taking her out. Like my daughter, her thing, she's like, I want to go on a date, you know, like let her get dressed together, you know, in your own little, pick a little dress from Ross for your little $12.99 and, you know, sit around times and feel beautiful. Like us as women, we do those things to just give your kids, especially that one-on-one attention as well. We're always fighting for attention and able or to be heard when you're in your office. All those different things. Like us as people want to be heard, and especially as women, like we need to let our daughters know, like your voice is heard. Get what you want. If you speak up and ask for things, you're going to get more of those things. So just giving them that confidence to propel them. And when you start like you're doing from the age of 1, just imagine the type of strong woman that she's going to be when that comes. And when she does find a man or have a family of her own, she's going to be able to flourish even more rather than trying to, you know, figure out who she was in her roots. So
thank you.
Congratulations.
I would say, like I said, I don't have kids, but you know, I came from a Black mama. And, you know, it was hard for her to be because, you know, it told her that she was beautiful, she was pretty. It was very hard for her to pass what you're doing with your daughter is going to last for the rest of her life. Nobody can come into her life and say, you beautiful, and then try to take advantage of her. She's gonna be like,
I already know because mama told me.
Exactly.
So, you know,
and I think the other thing for that is the reflection of us so big now, right? Like there's a ton of brown girls out there that are killing the game. There's so many that look at like there's the ones wearing puffs. It's on major magazines. We didn't have that growing up. I didn't see any Black girls on TV that they didn't try to change. Like, crazy makeup, her hair was straight. Like crazy beautiful. Like so kudos to you for doing that. And the fact that there's a reflection of us that is in mainstream media, I think is huge, because now you can say, you see your hair looks like her and she on TV.
Definitely helps me out.
Amazing. It's amazing.
I'm saying, although I'm not a mother, although I'm not a mom, like I was raised by a powerful Black woman herself, and the one thing that helped shape me into the brown girl I am right now is, although she was old school, and she probably had Hillary remix, she allowed me to make mistakes, not the ones who would be too detrimental, and she talked to me. What could we do better? What do you see was the problem? Where you could have did this, and that allowed me to be so fearless in life, because I always failed with stuff I never tried. And I think she watching now, but shout out to my mom.
I love that.
But that it was definitely has been a superhero, because I need to stay in a child's place, and those are the times I need it. I truly need to stay in a child's place. But because I did give her run for her money, I'm not even gonna lie. But it was sometimes where if she told me one thing, I would do the opposite. So why not let me have that opportunity to make that mistake, so we can come back and talk about it as mom.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes. Well, y'all know, y'all can tell I'm a mama's baby already. I got her on here speaking on the panel, but as somebody else said, it's very important for me to have that side of her as well as my mom did with me. So I think it's big that we, like my mom said, we're taking a lot of wisdom from our mothers, but we also putting our little skin on it, but we're not spinning it too far out that they won't know what they need to know. They're just gonna be doing what the world is doing right now. Move on, because I want to keep you out long here all night.
Because you know we could talk about mamas being mamas. Oh, I was saying, you know, we could talk about being mamas all day. The last thing I want to say is just when they get older, the cuddles stop a little bit less, the chat stop a little bit more. But it's up to us to reel them in and be like, get over here and give me a kiss and give me a hug. And, you know, with my son being 13, I'm like, come here. I hop in his bed when I want to be able to have that conversation. And before this whole COVID happened, we would still go on dates. Hey, what movie you gonna see? Just me and him. because having a little one that's 3, you know, she demands so much time to her things. So just making sure that you pencil that time in for the growing ones is just as important as the younger ones, because that's how the older ones tend to slip through the cracks. That conversation becomes less, that love in my mouth, keep the same energy going throughout your entire house and throughout the same cycle.
Yes, I love that you said that, because you're right. We do lose the connection, especially with him being a boy and you being a woman. You know, it's like you feel only so much that you can teach him. So it's like, he like, Mom, you don't understand and all that. So I love that you are making sure that connection. Just can't imagine though, but I mean, so kudos to you.
I would like to say one thing, because it's something that I remember growing up with, not just with my mom, because she didn't say it too often, but with my friends' mothers and guys' mothers and things of that sort, is do as I say and not as, no ma'am. I'm sorry, that's gonna have to change from 2020 up until now on.
Right.
I personally do believe that we do have to be that role model for our young brown girls. And my locks, okay? She needs to see me express my blackness, my brownness, the way how social media, how cartoons are not exposing and not expressing it. It really hurts me sometimes to, oh, it's so pretty. I'm like, baby, come get this one. You know, this one is pretty too. No, this one is pretty. You know, and slowly but surely we are getting to a certain point to where she sees all the different black models, all the different. But we're getting to a certain point. But I think that do as I, what'd you say? Do as you are told. Y'all know what I'm saying?
It's gonna die anyway, because everybody does the things that they see, especially if it's something in your environment. You automatically adapt to it. So you can tell them all day long. So they're automatically gonna do what you do and a little bit of what you say. Yes. So okay, so let's talk about mental health. Now we know COVID going on, and everybody, even people who really in and got their mental health together, getting a little cuckoo, for lack of a better term. So we have two, Miss Bobby and Ace, are gonna kind of talk on mental health from their perspective. So y'all just jump in however y'all want to jump in. Okay, Miss Bobby got people talking in her background. So
right there beside the eggs.
Y'all get her, because that's my loud co-host in the background.
I don't recognize the voice.
Yeah, that's him, girl.
I'm sorry. I'm not computer savage. I've been a hairstylist for 35 years. So I never had to acquire all of this, and my kids pushed me so much on learning how to get in with it, because I still want to be content with where I'm at and not move forward with this technology. But I see that if I'm going to participate with what's going on in the world, I'm going to have to get on board and do what I need to do in order to
step your
get
game up.
Tonight, I just want to spotlight mental illness. As a young child growing up, one of my sisters became mental ill at the age of 18. And I always thought, but I know God don't put no more on you that you can bear. And so it kind of resonated real bad with me, because I felt like that she had, it was a disease that had attacked her. And so today I see the same thing that's going on with our young people today. I sit in the salon and I see young men, most of all, than young women. It's sad to see them so withdrawn from the world. They don't know where they are at that particular time. And it just hurts my heart so bad, because I see where they are, because my parents was able to give my sister some help. But nowadays, you know that you just can't go and sign someone up in a rehab. They have to be willing to go. They have to sign themselves up. They are getting killed because of this mental illness. And we got people that that's undiagnosed, and we got people in our family that we won't acknowledge that it's a mental illness. We just wanna, they popping pills. But the mental illness started before this came on, because they using these things to suppress the mental illness that they have. This mental illness affects about 19% of our adult population. And it also affects 46% of our teenagers and 13% with their mental health, because people in the family look over it and want to push it to the side. But you know, these people are the people that lives next door to you. It happens in the workplace. It's the person that sits next to you in your cubicle, and it's the same person that sits next to you even in the church. So we as Black Americans, because we have it the baddest about pushing stuff up on the road when it comes to addiction. You know, addiction is just not, addiction comes with pedophiles, you know, abuse. it's just a number of things that this addiction come with and mental illness come with. Because a lot of, if it don't come in my house and sit in my lap, it's not my child, it's not my cousin or somebody that's close to me, then I don't worry about it on this thing with mental illness.
Absolutely.
Because if we don't, we're gonna find ourselves in a world where we just got a whole lot of discombobulated people, and what kind of society will it be for our So I told my daughter that I wanted to come on this platform and reach out to people that have family members that are dealing with mental illness to help them the best that you know how. Help them find a way that you can help them. Spend time with them. Tell them you love them. Take them somewhere and just show them some love. Because if not, these people are wasting away. They are the ones that are up under the bridges. They are the ones that we're finding in the houses with their head cut off. It's so much going on with mental illness. So I just want to say that if you have not been in your family that you know of that have mental illness, reach out. Reach out. We got to start doing better by our people.
Absolutely.
Our people.
You're right.
Because the pills are becoming a big thing for the the young adults that are now. They are popping pills. They're moving from the pills to heroin, to a lot of other stuff. But really, they really is seeking some love. The next big thing is drugs.
Absolutely.
So this is what I want to speak on mental illness of tonight.
Well, thank you so much for starting off with the mental illness and just mental health. Me personally, I really got into meditation because of my need to be able to find myself and to strengthen myself in difficult times. Having children that, you know, sometimes you're having a hard time. Like, I understand. I know what's going on. You crying? Why are you crying? You know what I mean? So in times like that, as a parent, for me, I had to be able to man up and queen up and just say, let me dress my crown and let me deal with it. And so what I've learned through meditation is a lot of times people talk, they see themselves. And if we were to take a moment to really listen to a person, just listen 5 minutes, they'll tell you so much about themselves. Oh man, I came into work late. I can't believe I came into work late. Okay, you're beating yourself up about your punctuality. So if you really listen to what it is a person says, they're telling you so much about their insecurities. Oh man, I did my hair this morning. You see my edges falling out, and they're insecure about their hair. So if you really listen to a person, and that's something I really love to tell, you'll be able to hear the insecurities, or you'll be able to hear their fears, or you'll be able to hear their struggles as they sit there and they talk to you for a few moments. We have thousands of thoughts a day. And I always preach this to everyone I know. If we have to them positive, you're going to have a few that come in there, but you need to make sure that every time something comes up that's negative, you shoot it down with something that's positive and affirming. If we have, you know, I my past is like trying to rob my own house. I don't live there no more. I don't live there anymore. So you're trying to come in now and trying to steal my joy and to bring up the past. I'm even about where I was a month ago. A person may say, oh, I knew you last year. Well, you don't know me because you don't know that person that I was. So I'm all about, you know, mental health, because a lot of those wounds, they tend to bleed on the people that didn't hurt them. So if you're in a relationship where you have friends, you will take out your past frustrations or your past traumas on your new set of friends, hurt that you felt from your old relationship onto your new relationship. So like I said, it's so important to really heal those wounds, and through meditation. And I say meditation so much because I know what is, I mean, if you don't sit there and you don't talk to God, if you don't say, God, I'm dealing with this, meditation to me, you're thinking about all of these things that's going on. And if most of them are negative, if you're thinking, hey, I'm stupid and I'm feeling like I'm failing my kids, and I'm feeling like I'm failing my life, and I'm feeling like I'm not in my dream job, I feel like I'm making myself sick, I feel God out of it and come to, you done dug yourself into this deep hole of depression, of, you know, of self-consciousness and low self-esteem, to where now you don't know how to pull yourself, your wounds. You made your wound bigger. You made it, you're bleeding now onto everyone around you. Right. And so, like Miss Bobby said, you know, a lot of people tend to turn me just being, you know, real about my life and where I've come from. I was one that would drink, and boy, if I drank, I gave everybody my insecurities. And it's like, they did nothing to you. But that's me trying to heal through something that was toxic, and it pulled out all of my insecurities and my fears. And I started to bleed on people around me. Into your mind, you have to realize it. And my dad says it, oh my God, he said it every time I was a kid, and I never got it until I turned 30. Think about what you're thinking about. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about this and that and this and that. Is any of it positive? Is it self-love, or is it self-sabotage? Right. Because either it's going to fit into one on a destruction.
Yes, girl. Come on, sister.
Exactly.
Go ahead, queen. But yeah, you have to be able to pull yourself up out of moments where you feel like you're not your best self. Because to analyze your thoughts and grow
Yes.
from whatever it is that you're thinking about.
Right.
So I definitely, to touch on one of the things that you said with mental illness, the signs are, you know, if you can talk to a person and by the time you finish that conversation, like, oh, I said too much. I brought up something from a year ago. But it was on your heart and it's something that you want to deal with, but you're subconsciously trying to release it or trying to get it out. So a big sign that you want to deal with, you know, mental health and to really strengthen your mind is to really analyze the conversations that you have with someone throughout your day. And also another thing could be life stressors. If someone says to you, oh, I don't really like your hair like that, and it makes you mad and it destroys, it takes all your joy off of that one comment because you're still needing to heal in that one area. If your kids is like, you didn't make dinner on time, and it just makes you so mad, you feed them and make them go to bed. Your parents and how they do the type of way. Analyze your reactions, and when you analyze your reactions, you'll be able to see, okay, I really reacted on this. I really away. I need to see where that trigger came from. I need to see why I gave so much energy to this. So definitely pay attention to those actions. Your joy away is a trigger and you want to get to the bottom of it.
Absolutely, girl. Come on, girl. Oh, okay.
I do this meditation, yoniandbeyond.com.
All right. I'm going to go back to what Miss Bobby was talking about. I honestly think that when it comes to mental health, I think the most important thing is acknowledgement. Truly is a problem. In my household, they don't accept that mental health is a serious issue that needs professional help. And I know therapy, we go to church, you know, we go to the pastor. That's how we pray to but that's not how mental health works. I mean, you know, just like you meditate, you can pray, but that actually need to deal with. And sometimes talking to a professional, helping you identify those that you've actually gone through. Like, why am I so bitter? Why am I this way about women? That comes from a defense mechanism or something from your childhood or something that you experienced, a trauma bond, substance abuse, just to cope with that currently. So meditation is great. I'm all for meditation. I'm all for prayer. But
I would, in response to that, I would say, because I definitely agree with you. I grew up in church, and a lot of times I would hear that a person with a mental illness, oh, that's just a demon and it needs to get off of that. And so I would hear that and I'm like, but no, they're dealing with something from the past. And so, you know, this is a misconception that a lot of people do have about I'm just going to sit here and be peaceful and now it's going to go away. Meditation is not the act of being still. It's digging into your pain. It's digging into your thoughts and it's realizing the problem that you're dealing with is how long ago, but it affects you right now. So right now, you are not in today, you are in 5 years ago. You have to sit still and relive that moment and pull out what you need to learn, pull out that strength, that what you would have done in that moment different. If you couldn't have done 15 years old, you couldn't have done anything different in that moment. What can you do now to pull yourself and empower yourself to say that I will never be in that situation again. I will never feel like that again. I will never think of myself that way again. And I take the power back from in meditation. It's not necessarily like I'm sitting there and I'm still. You're digging deep to find the queen within or the king within to say, I got my power.
The only thing I want to add is the stigma behind mental health in the Black community. I think one of the things that we kind of make the mistake on is that there's a deep rooted issue that affects our mental health. A really traumatic mental health kind of episode earlier this year, where what happened to me was I've always been like the go-to in my family, right? Like when people have problems for us to bear, that I could go to passed away in September of last year. And for me, it was, I had so much weight on my own face. And so mental health was starting to affect my physical. And I thought I was just sick, like something's wrong. Maybe my vision's going out, maybe something's going on, but it's the physical that it starts to affect. Those checks, that the vision that you have, the sleepless nights, the you not hungry, like there's something internal going on. So we always have to check on our mental health. People is going out. It's like, no, like when you don't feel like yourself, you know that there's something wrong. But when it's a physical hurt that you feel, that could also be your mental health.
Right, because it's stemming from your mind. If your mind is withering away and peeling away slowly, and your body starts to deteriorate in the process, and I couldn't go to sleep because I'm thinking about everybody else's problems, and I completely, mine was on the back burner, but it was under there somewhere. And so one of the things that I tell people too, when you're feeling like you love yourself, there's a thing called mirror meditation, where you look at yourself in the mirror while you're brushing your teeth. Some people cannot. Some people can't look at themselves for more than 30 seconds in a mirror. while you're be in awe of yourself, love on yourself in that moment. And when doing that, a lot of times you're giving yourself something that you don't even know that you need. And so there's so many different ways to meditate. People think car, dancing is a form of meditation because you're raising your vibration, you're raising your energy, you're giving yourself so much love. And not everything is up here. A lot of times we bury it. As Black women, we are so good at burying our issues because we gotta be strong. We gotta say it as the back. We hold it up too. So as we're doing that, we sitting up here trying to hold it, got the babies on the boob, got the baby coming out, so many different things. But meditation is not just sitting there and thinking about what you're thinking about. A lot of people go to therapists, which is fine too, but a lot of times they don't feel a connection. You're telling somebody your story and they say, okay, come back in 30, and give you another question. And sometimes you need questions right now. You need to dig deeper right now. You need to see how you feel right now. You need to strengthen your body because some days you can't even get out of the bed to it. But I definitely tell people, start off with how you feel. Start off with how you react. Start off with, the people that's around you. A lot of times, if you look at the people around you, it'll tell you a lot about you. Girl, let's go out, let's turn up. Then you got someone around you like, come on, let's drink. And then you got another one like, why you got to go to work? When you think about that too, you'll see that there's a lot of aspects that go into it. That's why I always talk to people one-on-one first to find out a routine that works for them, find out some questions that's going to empower them, because not everyone's the same. But if I can create something customized to them, I've had so many, and I'm so thankful. I feel so honored by the queens that have allowed me to be able to come into their space or even to get a. It's such a sacred thing to be able to hear what somebody's going through. So, like I said, I customize it to the person's needs. Not everybody is the same, and not everybody can meditate the same.
I was say, as someone who is a social worker and will be licensed soon and practicing soon, I think it's for me to even be on this journey. I had to unlearn a lot of things. I'm Southern, I'm Baptist, and I am taught to help now, right? And the way that we Black women are always taught to be the fixer, even if it doesn't make sense for the person. So how I view fixing you is how I view fixing you, and as a people's view of therapy. Like therapy isn't an answer. It isn't an answer because I'm never supposed to give advice. I'm always supposed to challenge you so you can see where you're making your shortcomings. I think it's good to know if you're going for trauma, it's good to know where you are with your trauma. Because I can't do certain therapy practices with someone who's been sexually abused and they haven't gotten to, it may re-traumatize them so much that I may have damaged them more than they came in through the door. So and it's so important to make sure that that person isn't forced to be there. Because or whatever it is, there's a certain way to get somebody to the point that they want to believe in themselves to change. And if someone isn't at that point yet, you can give them whatever you can to them, and it just won't click yet. So sometimes helping others with mental illnesses or any trauma that they're living with doesn't always look like having a solution. Sometimes it's teaching them how to live in whatever they're in right now. You have around mental illness, how it means you're deficient, you're less than. You're less than a person, you're not right, you're sick. That's not true. Some people are born normal, it's possible. And trauma can be you having a bad car accident. Trauma can be the loss of a child. Trauma can be this year. It's traumatic enough to the point that everybody needs to know at some point in your life you're gonna step into something that's gonna hurt your mentally, and that is okay. Help doesn't always have to come from someone like me. Help may come from your mom, help may come from your pastor, help may come from your neighbor. Like it's all, but you have that thought of that you can't trust anybody. I mean, we do have valid reasons as to why we shouldn't trust, right? Even me studying social work, most of the diagnoses we learn how to trust them from the Tuskegee experiment that killed a lot of people. We have a lot of reasons not to trust a lot of systems, but we can't allow that trust to make sure that we can't, to know when to ask for help. We cannot do everything alone, and that is okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to build that support. It's okay. I probably have friends who probably just see a problem that I had to address. Why do I feel like I got to be so strong that I can't be vulnerable around people I love? So it starts there, and the older generation has to help as well, because some of the stuff we're taught was from them, and to just know that tricks. Old dogs learn new tricks every day. That's how they learn how to stay in the street long enough to be older dogs. So help us help everybody else. You have to change one who's neutral in your space, because sometimes you need that unbiased opinion, or learning how to meditate, or learning that sometimes God can't always be either. So work with that faith. So it takes a community, and then as I look back, because my goal is to be that one-stop shop for my community as it used to be for me, because I see that it's not there.
Yes.
It has to be okay for your neighbor to
Exactly.
tell your child to get out the middle of the street without you ready to fight your
Absolutely.
neighbor.
Right.
It has to be okay for people to help you in your household. It's okay to have it that week. And it starts with us being able to
Right.
strengthen our communities again. We have let them. We got so caught up on making it out that we're
Mm-hmm.
neglecting our own
Mm,
So
neighborhoods
true.
and giving back
Yes.
to them.
yes,
Yep.
that's big. That's big. Okay, so Miss Shawnee, did you want to add anything else on self-care as we get ready to wrap up? We
I
had no
had
idea
so
it's gonna
much
go this long,
fun.
but Brittany and I
I can
talked.
make it short because I can say this year has taught me so much about how we get caught up in superficial self-care.
Mm.
And there's nothing wrong with getting your hair done. There's nothing wrong with getting your nails done. But when the nail shops close
Yeah.
and you couldn't get your hair done and that weave in China became a
Mm-hmm.
little short, what was you doing for yourself? Like, how were you making yourself? It came down to being able to make on a weekly basis, create 5 things that you like about yourself, or just like I'm in a long distance relationship with my family. Now, it was having a phone calls with my friends and family, feeling included in their life now that we're not in the same space. So I think in general, when it comes to self-care, I think I would like to share that everyone, when your money run out and when those places are no longer open and you probably can't get a hold of your favorite ice cream or your favorite wine, what are you really pouring into yourself?
Yes.
Like, things should not make you happy. What are you doing
Yes.
for yourself to fulfill yourself? So I think that's a good point COVID is gonna bring. It's getting
Right.
cold in certain parts of the world. We got to deal with the flu and COVID. So we might be in the house
Yes.
again. So create that space in your house. Even if you do have kids, if it is doing a board game, if it's teaching them the words, if it's actually showing them pictures of you when you were a kid, what really makes you happy and what is something that you can do day in and day out that will stick no matter what.
I love
Yes.
that. Did you all want to add anything to that about self-care?
No.
I just want to say that when COVID came, we were shut down for 8 weeks, and I never been where. So I was just I hated it was there, but when we got shut down, I got a chance to be at home for those 8 weeks, and I got a chance to learn myself all over again because I was so caught up in making sure that everybody else was taken care of. So those 8 weeks, I learned how to love myself more than I love being my job. I'm gonna say love myself. I learned how to love myself that more than I love my job because I realized that the people, even though if I wasn't there, the people couldn't get service. But if I'm dead, the people they gonna go to someone else and get service. So I learned that with this new way, you got to schedule people and make sure that if they're not there at their scheduled time, that you cannot service them. When you run people, then you could feel the love of yourself again because people take advantage of you.
That's
But
true.
COVID really showed me how to reevaluate myself and to learn how to for allowing me to have those 8 weeks to reevaluate my whole life.
That's awesome. And I'll chime in and finish with, I definitely want to promote the mental health as being such a major thing for everyone to just dive into, think about what you're thinking about. And so much of becoming the person that we're meant to be is getting back to the child that we was. When you think of children, they're so loving, superwoman and superman and rich and so loving and trusting, and they're fearless, and they feel like they can be a doctor, a dancer, a pilot, a bird that can fly. They can embrace all of that, and it's such a beautiful thing. But life teaches you what beauty is, will teach you what you should expect out of life, and just to get back to your own expectations. So as long as you meet your expectations, then you're giving yourself self-love.
Absolutely, I love that. Anybody else? Ms. Brittany?
Huh? No,
Did you have anything?
I'm just kidding.
Any closing thoughts?
I will say that as a Black woman, I don't know, I've kind of grew up with she got to be time, she got to work, she got to keep the food on the table, she got to have the kids clean, the house clean, and things of that sort. And in today's, especially during the pandemic, it's very stressful because I still have this woman who was working a full-time job with 2 children, and I am single as well. So mental healthness, we got to get along because sometimes we don't. Many days we do not get along at all. Need to go is very important because that by itself can drive a person completely insane. What I've been having to tell myself lately is that my soul knows who to be and where to go. They're going to have to stay in sync. I need to go be my kids' bedtime story.
Right.
So please, to any queens out there listening and to the queens on the panel, please take care of yourself. That's the most important thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yep. Right. I just want to say I enjoyed you all. It was great. I feel even more.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank you all for jumping on the panel. We had much more topics, but we went way over time.
Black queens to talk.
So we're gonna
Part.
yes, but I really feel like it was a genuine girl chat that we really got to vent and to get other perspectives on it, so we can kind of show up in the world differently. And that's really my purpose on having these type of girl chats. And not only the panelists can show up differently, but those who are watching, they can consume, you know, the information that we're giving out and see what they can do with it and how to out of it. Please believe it's gonna be a part 2 because being Miss Shay, I always overboard. I put too much for part 1. So we will reconvene on part 2 and, you know, whatever else come up in between now and then. But again, thank you ladies so much. Information on when I post it on YouTube and on our streaming platforms. So you all look out for that. Make sure you all connect with these ladies because you all can see they're full of wisdom and they got it going on. So if nothing else, I want to thank, this has been your episode of What's Coming Out of Your Mouth, Woman to Woman Girl Chat. Good night.
Good night.